Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We on? Oh, it's about a cat. Buongiorno to everyone. Welcome to West London Temple Morning Program on a beautiful sunny morning in England. Only joking. And we're going to sing Thakur Vaishnava Gan, Kirtan, and then continue with our reading. Thakur Vaishnava Gana Koriye Nivedana Moboro Adhama Durachara
Thakur Vaishnava Gana Koriye Nivedana Moboro
Hare Jai Shri Vaishnava Thakur Ki Jai. So this morning we're going to read, we're staying with Mahaprabhu, but we're going to read from the Golden Volcano of Divine Love by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Maharaj. This wonderful book is the life of Mahaprabhu, the first part of the book, the life of Mahaprabhu, and then part 2 of the book is the Shikshastakam, the precepts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Shikshastakam means the 8 verses that Mahaprabhu wrote down. Mostly he didn't write down. Talked to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Swami, and so many others, and gave so many instructions and teaching, but only actually recorded 8 verses. So in this book, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is introducing us to these the beautiful Siddhanta, the beautiful vision of reality, the beautiful coming from Mahaprabhu. And so we'll do that, and we may get to Chaitanya. But it's nice to read 2 books in the morning, but we don't have a lot of time today, so we're going to read the Golden Volcano. So Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chanja Jaya Golda Bhakti-vinda. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chanja Jaya Golda Bhakti-vinda. So we're not at the beginning of the Shikshastakam either. We are in the 3rd verse of the Shikshastakam. Do we know what the 3rd verse is? Pisanichena tarori vasehishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One who is humbler, more humble than a blade of grass, more forbearing than a tree, who gives due honor to others without desiring it for himself, is qualified to always chant the holy name of Krishna. And this little chapter Guru Maharaj is called Humbler Than a Blade of Grass. Oh, wait a minute. Here they are. So the subtitle is Illumination. Illumination on this verse of the Shikshastakam. So what does Guru Maharaj say? He says, we should mainly couch ourselves in this mood. That should be our mood, We should think of ourselves as the meanest of the mean. That means the lowest of the low. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given his analysis of the meaning of this verse as follows. Even a blade of grass has its value, but we do not even have as much value as a blade of grass. We have no positive value. It is one thing if a man is not educated, but a madman is worse than uneducated. He can think, but only abnormally. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I have some consciousness, some intelligence, but it is all misdirected. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Devananda Prabhu Ki Jai. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I have some consciousness, some intelligence, but it's all misdirected. A blade of grass has no misdirection. Like innocent in that respect. But I'm not like that. When trampled upon, the blade of grass, it has no tendency to spring back in the opposite direction. A blade of grass can be blown here and there by a storm or by the external environment, but I will always be reluctant to go in a particular direction. If the waves of the environment want to take me in a particular direction, I'll try to oppose them. if you really consider my value, my position is lower than a blade of grass because I have an opposing tendency. Hare Krishna. When we want to bring ourselves in a closer relationship with the infinite goodness, we should think, I have no value. Rather, my value is negative. It is my tendency to oppose the Lord's grace. If Krishna wants to grace me, I try to resist. I am constituted of such an element that I commit spiritual suicide. Krishna comes to grace me, but I oppose him. The energy that is within me tries for suicide. This is my position. But a blade of grass won't oppose anyone. I have such a nasty position. We must realize that we are in such a predicament. With this concern, we may accept the goodness of the absolute truth in the form of his holy name. We should not think that the path will be very smooth. So many troubles may come from outside. When the devotees go to chant Hare Krishna in the street, many people come and shout, "Hey, you monkeys! Red-faced monkeys!" We've experienced it. Lalabandhu. Red-faced monkeys. So many forms of hindrances and opposition will come and try to affect us, to dissuade us from this path. But we must practice forbearance, means toleration, forbearance, like that of a tree. Why has the example of a tree been given? It has been analyzed in this way. If no one pours any water on a tree, it does not protest, "Oh, give me water." If anyone comes to disturb the tree, snatching its leaves, cutting its branches, or even chopping it down, a tree remains silent. It gives no opposition. We should try to see how insult, poverty, punishment, or other unfavorable dealings are necessary to purify us. And with minimal punishment, we shall be released from material existence. Through Krishna consciousness, we have connected with the highest object of life, the highest fulfillment of life. What price are we ready to pay for that? It is inconceivable. Whatever little demands may be extracted from us, we must accept with a smiling face, considering the highest goal. If we are really confident, if we have faith in our bright future, then we can gladly pay what little price nature wants to take from us. Beautiful. Hare Krishna, Kabe Have Bolo Sedinarama. Next heading, Krishna, I shall teach you a lesson. We'll find out what's happening here. Once, Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, the spiritual master of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was going through the town of Navadip, begging a little rice from different houses. Jai Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Giriraj ki jai. Beautiful. So he's going collecting rice. The village people sometimes attack or insult devotees. And as he was going to his quarters, they did not spare even such an exalted soul, Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. Some boys were pelting him with stones and throwing dirt at him. And he remarked, "Oh, Krishna, you are cruelly dealing with me. I shall complain to your mother Jashoda about you. That was his outlook. And in that way, he harmonized everything. We should learn to see Krishna in anything that comes to disturb or attack us. We should learn to see Krishna in anything that comes to disturb or attack us. In philosophical calculation, of course, without God's will, nothing can happen. But in a concrete way, a devotee sees, oh Krishna, you are backing these children. You are disturbing me, and I shall teach you a lesson. I know how to deal with you. I shall complain to Mother Jashoda, and she will chastise you. The advanced devotees are established in the consciousness that Krishna is behind everything, and they take everything in that way. This attitude is our beacon light. This attitude is our beacon light. For it will guide us to adjust ourselves with those things that are apparently unfavorable to us. A sweet adjustment is found there. And so we are advised to be more tolerant than a tree. We may not give any opposition. Still, opposition will come to disturb us, and we must forbear. It means tolerate. We must forbear. We must tolerate. And we must show our respect to others. Prestige is the greatest and the most subtle enemy of the devotee of Krishna. Pride is the worst enemy for the devotee of Krishna. And pride ultimately takes one to the conclusion of the Mayavadis, the monists. They say, Soham, I am, not Dasoham, I am subordinate, but I am the supreme element. I am that. I am he. Eliminating from their consideration the fact that we are tiny and suffering in misery. All these practical things are ignored by the Mayavadis, the impersonalists. But position or ego, pratishta, is our worst enemy. In this verse, we are advised to deal with prestige and position in a special way. Next paragraph. The slave area of Krishna. The slave area of Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you must not desire respect from anyone or even from the environment itself. At the same time, you must give prestige to everyone and everything in the environment according to its position. We must be very particular about this, for pride is our hidden enemy, our worst enemy. If we can somehow avoid or conquer this enemy, we will be able to enter into the slave area of Krishna and join those who have given their lives wholesale in sacrifice to him. The general meaning of this verse is, never seek position or prestige from any quarter. At the same time, give honor to one and all according to your understanding. I'm remembering Sripad Tridandi Maharaj saying, you know, if in this lifetime I could just get to the position of not criticizing anybody and giving honor, then what a fabulous, successful life that would be. Never mind anything else, just that would be a huge achievement. And the next section is called A Great Insult. When our spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, went to Vrindavan in the early 1930s, he rode in a motor car. In those days, this was unheard of for a saint. One day, a priest insulted our guru by deprecating, putting down the position of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, the preceptor of our highest conception of spiritual achievement. He boasted, "We are not only residents of the Holy Land, but members of the caste of high priests, Brahmanas. Therefore, we can offer our benedictions to Das Goswami. He was born in a low-class family, and he himself asked for such a benediction from us." Of course, in great humility, Das Goswami once prayed, Goro Goste Gostala Yishu Sujani Busharagane Swamentashi Namani Vraja Nava Yuva Dvanva Sharane Sadadhamba Mitva Kuru Ratim Upurvam Mititarang Ayes Fatan Vratas Chatubhir Abhiyache Dvita Padaha. So in great humility, Das Goswami once prayed, "O my mind, my brother, I fall at your feet and implore you, my mind, give up all pride and always taste ecstatic love while remembering the divine guide, the holy abode of Vrindavan, the cowherds and milkmaids of Braja, the loving devotees of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the gods on earth, or pure Brahmanas, the Gayatri Mantra, the holy names of Sri Krishna, and the divine youthful couple of Braja, Shri Shri Radha Govinda Sundar." That was Das Goswami's prayer. That priest remarked, "We are residents of the holy abode of Vrindavan, and Brahmanas as well. So we are in a position to give benedictions to Raghunath Das Goswami." Upon hearing these words, our Guru Maharaj, who was at Radhakund at the time, began fasting. He remarked, "I have to hear this? This fellow is under the control of lust, anger, and greed. And he says that he can show his grace to Das Goswami, the most respected preceptor in our line. And I am to hear that?" Without retaliating against his remarks, he decided to fast. This is Guru Maharaj speaking, "We also stopped eating, and our whole camp began fasting." If your guru is fasting, what are you going to do? "We also stopped eating, and our whole camp began fasting. Then a local gentleman who came to know that the whole camp was fasting managed to find the blasphemous priest and bring him to our Guru Maharaj. That priest begged to be pardoned, to be forgiven. Our Guru Maharaj was satisfied, and after showing him some respect, finally broke his fast. At that time, someone told our Guru Maharaj, "They are all ignorant fools. Why should you be so much affected by his words? You should try to ignore it." Our Guru Maharaj said, "If I were an ordinary Babaji and heard such a remark, I could simply cover my ears and go away. But I am playing the part of an acharya, one who teaches by example. What justification do I have for riding in a motor car if I do not oppose the remarks against my Gurudev?" Repeatedly he used this expression. "Why am I driving in a motor car here in Vrindavan, where we're going on barefoot parikrama to this day? Why am I driving a motor car here in Vrindavan?" He said, "Had I been a Nishkinshana Babaji, a saint living in seclusion and only wearing a loincloth, I would have given no opposition to this man. To save myself, I would simply leave the place and go elsewhere. But because I am riding in a big motor car, in the post of an acharya, a teacher, I must defend the dignity of the great devotees. I have accepted this charge and can't evade these circumstances. It's Saraswati Thakur's savor. I must face it and do everything in my power that such things may not go on undetected or unopposed. You probably can't see it, but there's a wonderful picture of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his very nice 1930s open-topped motor car. He says, humility must be adjusted or modified in its practical application. Once, when a Hare Krishna temple was attacked, a gun was used by the devotees to defend the temple. Later, there was a complaint among the local people. They said, oh, they are humble, they are tolerant. Why have they crossed the advice of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be humbler than a blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree? They can't be devotees. So many complaints were coming to me, but I defended them by saying, no, they have done rightly. The instruction to be humbler than a blade of grass means one should be humble to the devotee, not the madman. The general class of men are ignorant. They are mad. They do not know what is good or bad, so their consideration has no value. Who is qualified to judge whether a devotee is offering respect to all and not expecting any for himself? Who will judge whether he is really humble and tolerant? Madmen? Ignorant people? Have they the sense to judge who is humble, who is tolerant, and who is respectful to others? There must be a standard by which to judge humility. We are interested in the criterion given by higher thinkers, not the consideration of the ignorant mass. Next section, we're going to find out the standard of humility. Of course, anyone may deceive the ordinary public with superficial humility. But a show of humility is not real humility. It must come from the heart, and it must have real purpose. Everything, humility, tolerance, pridelessness, must be considered by the judgment of a standard normal person, not by the ignorant who are like elephants, tigers, and jackals. Should they be allowed to judge what is humility? What is audacity and impertinence? Of course not. Should a devotee think the deity and the temple is about to be molested, but I shall stand by and do nothing? I should be humble and tolerant. A dog is entering the temple. I should show him respect. No, that is not real humility. We must have a normal conception of reality. It's wonderful how Guru Maharaj is using this word normal to mean Krishna consciousness. We must have a normal conception of reality. We must not allow these anomalies to continue in the name of offering respects to others. We must not think that we may allow anyone to harm the devotees, molest the temple, that we shall allow the dog to enter the temple, and by doing this we are humble and tolerant. We are showing all respects to others. We are not interested only in the physical meaning of the scriptures, but the real meaning. That I am humble means that I am the slave of a Vaishnava. With that consciousness, we may proceed. If anyone comes to molest my master, I should first sacrifice myself, thinking, because I am of the least importance, my sacrifice is no loss. I must sacrifice myself to maintain the dignity of my Guru, the devotees, and my Lord and his family. We must always understand what is to be honored. We offer our respects to the highest truth, the Lord of Lords. Our dealings should be in consonance with that. If we always keep the highest conception of relativity within us, we will see that we are the lowest. If we always keep the highest conception of relativity within us, we will see that we are the lowest. If there is danger to our guardians, we shall sacrifice ourselves. All of this should be taken into account when trying to understand the meaning of humility. Not physical imitation, but genuine humility. It is a question of practical realization. Fame and honor must be given to the Lord and his devotees, not to anyone else. In the higher stages of devotion, of course, humility may have to be adjusted in another way. For the Paramahansa Babajis, the topmost swan-like saints who have given up all connection with this material world. But in the preaching stage, the second-class devotee must accept things differently. As our Guru Maharaj said, had I been in the role of a Babaji, a non-assertive, reclusive saint, I would have walked away from the place without offering any opposition. But when we are preaching and have taken the responsibility of leading so many souls to the domain of the Lord, our adjustment must be made accordingly. Generally, we may be indifferent to those who are personally inimical to us, indifferent. But when we preach on behalf of the Lord in an organized way, our duty changes. We cannot be indifferent to antagonists. It is mentioned in the scriptures by Dev-Goswami that according to one's own particular status, these things should be taken into consideration and the necessary things should be done. He has given his decision that if the devotee has a position of power, if he is a king, and if someone who repeatedly blasphemes a real Vaishnava or saintly person, then the king should enforce corporal punishment by banishing the offender from his state or by cutting out his tongue. Vaishnava nindaka jiva hata. That's not the duty for ordinary persons. If they act in such a way, there will be a riot. We should not be eager to inflict punishment, physical punishment on anyone. Hanuman is a Vaishnava, but he is seen to destroy so many lives. The same is true of Arjuna and so many other devotees. Even Krishna and Ramachandra are also seen to kill so many demons in war. Simply a physical show of meekness does not constitute the real meaning of humility. When there is an insult to the Guru or the Vaishnavas, a devotee will oppose the blasphemers according to his might. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his songs says that we should not only tolerate the evil doing of others and a disturbing environment, but we should do good to those by whom we are being tortured. The example is given of a tree. One who is cutting the tree gets shade and comfort from the tree, even while cutting it down. In conclusion, he says that humility, mercy, respect for others, and renunciation of name and fame are the 4 qualifications for chanting the holy name of Krishna. We are the meanest of the mean, the lowest of the low. We should always be conscious that we are beggars. We should think, although I am a beggar, I have come to beg for the highest thing. Let no disturbance dissuade me from my attempt. At the same time, our attitude toward the environment should be respectful. In this way, by becoming educated in the Krishna conception of divinity, everyone should be given respect according to his position. It is the guiding instruction in the worship of the holy name, Nam Bhaja. It's the guiding instruction that we must take the position of the slave of the slave of the slave of the Lord. If you want to chant the name of Krishna, and don't waste your energy with the trifling things of this world. Don't allow your attention to be disturbed by tiny acquisitions like prestige or gain which are relative to money and physical comfort. Remember, you are trying for the greatest thing, and all other things are very small in comparison to Krishna consciousness. So don't waste your energy and valuable time. Be economical. You have the chance to achieve the highest goal of life. Hare Krishna, and that's quite a short piece of Guru Maharaj's illumination on the 3rd shloka of Shikshastakam Chanada Pisanichana Tarori Vasahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Hari. How wonderful. Any comment or question, anything?
Very, very powerful explanation of that verse, isn't it?
Very powerful. And from different and graded as well. Like Guru Maharaj always say, there's gradation of everything. All things are not the same. So even in the way that humility is expressed, is graded. Like if you're a king or in charge of the law enforcement, then you have a duty to behave one way. Or if you're an acharya, like Saraswati Thakur, he had to do, and he didn't go and berate that priest, start shouting at him and saying, oh, you're a nonsense. But internally he said, I have to do something. And he began to fast. And when a powerful personality like Saraswati Thakur is fasting and doing penance because of something that you've done, that the environment brought that panda to the feet of Saraswati Thakur begging forgiveness. But at the same time, he said, if I was just an ordinary Babaji, then I would have just left. I wouldn't have made any kind of issue. I would have just gone somewhere else. So interesting to see the gradation, but from where I am, then I'm not in any position like that, the lowest of the low. So my position is with folded palms to see that everything is coming from my Lord to adjust me, and that I will, this is the posture to everything like this. Krishna is in control, and he will adjust me. Will adjust will adjust the devotees. So I just want to be a devotee. That's the takeaway. Please, you got to help. You are the highest of the high, and I am the lowest of the low, and you've come for that. So I've done my part. That shloka, I can't remember it now. That beautiful shloka, and Gurudev describing it, where he's kind of leaning into Krishna and saying, listen, Krishna, you're the highest of the high, right? Yeah. And I'm the lowest of the low. And you're going to save the lowest of the low, right? So I've done my bit. Now it's up to you. It's so wonderful. Guru Maharaj Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, telling like this. So with that, we have that hopeful thought in mind. That as long as we can keep our attention in that direction, keep going, then a bright future awaits. And Gurudev would say, then it must will come to you, he would say. Then it must will come to you. Because the Vaishnavas and the Lord are very merciful. And that is our hope and solace. But we want to be in the mercy queue. We don't want to be some other queue. We want to be queuing up for that. Hare Krishna. Okay, what a show. So we'll stop there for today. Wonderful reading from Srila Jai Srila Bhakti Raksak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Srila and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhari Ju ki Jai. And who will sing? Prabhuji, you want to sing Hari Hari Nama Krishna? Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Ram Srimad Sridhar Giridhari Gopinath Chaitanya Shri Advaita Chanda Radha Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Saratana Bhakta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath
Jai Shri Parikara Shri Shri Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhari Ju ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Govinda Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Rupanuga Guruvar ki
Jai.
Shri Chaitanya Math, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Math London Chapter ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Saraswat Math ki Jai.
Jai.
All the present devotees ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Worldwide devotees
Ki Jai.
Vrinda Devi Tulsi Devi ki Jai.
Jai.
Did I? Yeah.
Mini Jai. Very good.
Gaur Premanande.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Gaura Hari. Tutti devoti ki Jai.
Keshavananda
Hare
Prabhu ki
Krishna.
Jai. Sorry, I missed that one.
Bellissima. Bellissima. Prakrash.